Okay, I think as long as everything is going the way I think it's going, I think we're okay. I think we are live. I've just got to do a couple of little configuration things here. Let's see, we got Vaz here. We've got Wyatt is awesome. We got Mr. Johnson, Tom W67, Trat. Haven't seen Trat in a while. Wyatt says, looks and sounds good. Thank you for checking that. Same with you, Vaz. I appreciate you guys giving me the quick little sound and visual check there. I always like to start that way just so I've got a good idea of what I need to do to make this look or sound better. So again, thank you guys for that. I hope you're all doing well out there. It's been a crazy week for me and the DB Tech community in general. And just since yesterday, we've had about 500 new people join the community, which is amazing. I'm loving that. um, so yeah, it's been the last few videos that I've put out have done amazingly well, especially for what normally happens here on the channel. Let's address a couple of things here. Yes, Zero. I don't know what happened here, man. I don't know why my nose is like this. I went and took a shower, and in the shower, I used a new face wash that I've used a few times without issue. And then after the shower, like, I shaved and my nose has done this, and I don't know why. It's the weirdest damn thing. I was actually hoping, because it's been a couple of hours, I was hoping that would resolve. It hasn't. So here we are. I'm sure this won't be the only comment about my nose. It's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, so I don't know what happened here. Traz said, whoa, where are you? What have you done with this place? Bro, it's been like this for a year or more, which just shows me you're not watching my content or my live streams, because I've been sitting right here making content for about a year in this exact spot now. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm glad to have you here anyway. So yeah, no, the last couple of videos have as the kids say, popped off. And the numbers have been really, really good there, which I've been happy with. The video that went out yesterday is at almost 30,000 views. The one that went out a couple of days before that is at 53,000 views. And again, both of those have brought in, I think over the last week, about 1,000 new subscribers. I don't like that term, but community members here in the DB Tech community. So no, super excited to have some new people hanging out in the community. Jan, thank you so much for gifting a membership. It looks like Wyatt is awesome. Got that membership. Super appreciate that. Let's see. Jason asks, sensitivity to the new soap, maybe. It's a face soap, right? And like my pores are garbage on my nose. So it's entirely possible until my nose actually clears up, which is kind of an ongoing battle, because I have to wear a stupid mask at night to sleep. So it's kind of an ongoing battle. Yeah, so I'm gonna try it out for a while longer, and hopefully this will resolve eventually. Sven is here, says hi all, glad to have you. Tom says, did you you did rearrange the place a few months ago? I mean, it's been almost a year, I think. I think it's been about a year now. Tom says CPAP nose. Yeah, pretty much. Like, it doesn't matter how much I clean my mask or my face or whatever, just having that riding on my face, while I'm asleep at night. Like, I wake up with all kinds of like little pimples and stuff. It's gross. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, that's basically what it is, and it sucks, and I hate it. But let's see. Zero says he's got some great news of his own. The fly that keeps flying around will not for long. Do look at you starting early on me, and congrats on the views. Thank you. Appreciate that, Nighthawk. Mr. Johansson says, or Johansson, I'm not sure. But anyway, first self-hosting questions. What channel or content would you archive if you had to set up a 2 archivist instance for your NAS? That's a really interesting question. Let me go look at my subscriptions, and I can tell you. Let me look over here. Can I just see all? All right. I tell you what, we're going to look through. Here. This isn't a be all end all. Let's take a quick look here. Okay, so for me, like, and you didn't specify what kind of content here, Mr. Johansson. So absolutely Astrum, like all of the Astrum stuff, I would add. Awesome open source, maybe. Brew does some interesting stuff. Cam Shand, love his content. Chris Titus Tech, Chris Fix, lots of great information on Chris Fix there. I like Craft Computing's content, but I don't know that it would make my like doomsday collection, just because a lot of his is content about stuff that wouldn't be feasible in that situation. DIY Perks might be good as well, because he's showing how to do kind of off the ball stuff with stuff laying around. Let's see. You guys are getting a real good look at the weirdness that is the stuff I subscribe to. Yeah, Blacktail Studios. Dude, he's got such good content. Love that stuff. Hardware Haven's also one of those that like great content, but not really, like survival end of days content. I don't think. I don't have any idea who that is or why I'm subscribed to them. I like to make stuff. Maybe he does a lot of stuff of kind of repurposing things and reorganizing, and I kind of like that. Inside AI, actually, because he just has really interesting takes on AI that I really appreciate. He said Frog Leap Studios. Where was this? Yeah, dude. He plays a lot in my car. My wife is in love with him, so we listen to a lot of Leo in the car, and when she's doing stuff around the house, that sort of stuff, lots and lots of Leo. Love him, great, and just seems like a really down to earth, fun guy, and not just somebody who's up his own ass because he's a great musician, and I love that. Trying to get some breakfast in. I realized 20 minutes ago that I haven't eaten at all today, so I'm trying to get some calories and some protein in. Jerry Rig Everything might make the list. Jim's Garage does some really good stuff. That is both kind of entry level and mid tier as far as complexity, and I dig that. He also presents really well. John Hammond, at the end of the day, maybe not, because a lot of his stuff is like, hey, here's everybody doing everything wrong on every piece of software you've ever seen. Josh Johnson, because of the comedy, I think it's important to have comedy. Learn Linux TV would make the list, absolutely. If I was trying to set up a server or something like that in a way that I wasn't familiar with, I would absolutely lean on that. If he can ever finish his bunker, right? Dude, he lives in Utah, and it's so cold there that I can't imagine trying to work out there, digging things up and whatnot. I imagine that that's a big part of the hurdle. I know he's working on power, giving everybody in his life, it seems, solar panels and stuff. So, yeah, if he could get his bunker done, that would be amazing. Do lockpicking lawyer? I might, because some of the demonstrative stuff that he does might be beneficial in an end of world kind of situation. LSC, I love LSC, but the likelihood of me having one of the cars that he would have or that he's been working on lately, um, I feel like Chris Fix would be more end of the world focused than legit street cars would be. Um, but Looking Glass Factory. Oh, this was a weird thing. Low End University, because he talks about playing bass, and I've been playing bass off and on for 20 years, and I'm still not any good at it. But um, his ability to kind of explain music in an interesting way is good. Um, Mac Glocky, if you're not familiar with Mac, you should be. He does a lot of really fun stuff of like, I can just pop this open and we'll take a look. Um, if Deftones wrote Mr. Blue Sky, or if Stained wrote, where did it go? It was just there. Oh, it's a short, that's why. But basically, like he does, if this band wrote this song by somebody else, and it's really good most of the time. Like there's stuff, like it's all really good, but there's some of it that's like, yeah, I see why that didn't happen. Oh, let's see. Mighty Car Mods might also fall into some of the auto repair stuff. The way Marty and Moog handle stuff and explain stuff, I really appreciate. What else? Hey, I think this guy's around here somewhere. Offline storage as long as you have power. Yeah. And that's like I would love to get some backup batteries and stuff with some solar panels just for that. I've had a couple of companies reach out and I'm like, cool, let's talk about that. And then they never get back to me. Oh yeah, Nerdforge is great. They built some really, really fun stuff. What else? Sam Crack's also one of those good automotive people, but he's repairing Audi R8s and he's repairing BMWs and he's repairing stuff that I'll never own. So it doesn't really apply. What else? I was really sad. So I don't know if you guys are at all familiar with Talking Kitty Cat. It was kind of like this dude had a cat and he would do like voiceovers for the cat and have these conversations that were super funny, actually, from where I'm from. Like he's from Boise, no longer with us. Really, really bummed about that. He was a musician, just all around great guy. And life just got the better of him, and it was super unfortunate. Let's see what else. The Plant Slant. I would probably also add this to my archive because of all of the really great recipes and the way he presents food and eating and making the best of a situation. Maybe you've only got 3 ingredients. What can you do with those 3 ingredients? So I would definitely add him to that. And again, this is like end of world doomsday backups. So it's not to say that I wouldn't enjoy the content of these other people, but I think those are the ones that I'm currently subscribed to that would make the final cut as far as content. And I'm sure there's others that I would also want. I've actually been thinking of setting up one of those Wikipedia backup software, and I can't think of what it's called. And I'm sure one of you out there is way smarter than me. Kiwix or Kiwix. I think it's Kiwix. Um, Tasting history with Max Miller. Interesting. Speaking of Doomsday, I was thinking about spinning up Nomad server. I haven't looked at the Nomad server stuff yet. It's popped up in my feed, um, but it based on just a little bit I've seen, it looks interesting. With basically the all offline, low powered AI is kind of how I remember. Oops, hold on, Nomad server. If I could type, man. Is it this one? Yeah, this is the one. Sorry, listening inside the house. This might be a fun thing to do. What won't work? Raspberry Pi ARM devices, virtual machines, WSL on Windows, Mac OS. Okay. Please check out the hardware guide. This is what I want. All right, let's see. This might be a fun thing to do on a live stream. I don't know if I said that. I think I thought I said that, but I don't know. Recommended build for the full Nomad experience. The most popular configuration for the community leaderboard. A Mini Sport and B-Link or similar compact mini PC. Ryzen 7 or 9. Obviously, the Ryzen 9, that would be the best way to go with that. I mean, I've got 3 of those behind me back there that I could do something with. Not the Ryzen 9 AIs, but the mini PCs that I think would probably be fine. AMD Radeon. Oh, so this is specifically AMD. That's interesting for the mid tier. Yeah. Interesting. RAM market note. DDR5 prices are seen to be inflated now. Yeah. I asked him if it could have auto updating of data to keep it up to date. That's sorry, I got all sidetracked. Sorry, Tom said, hold on. Yep. Funny how your mind went doomsday scenario, but I was thinking more like if YouTube initiating itself or even gasp going under. If it was that situation rather than a doomsday situation, man, I would say probably a good chunk of my subscribe stuff. There's other stuff that I would miss if that was if it just went under and I didn't have any chance to really put any thought into it. There's definitely some creators that I would miss, but I think if YouTube fully enshittified itself and went under, which I can't imagine that it would, but if it did, right? I think I would want to steer clear of YouTube or any backups of YouTube. I think it would. I genuinely think it would wreck me enough that I wouldn't want to be reminded of it unless I absolutely had to be. I think I would refocus all of my attention on other media sources and probably focus more of my energy there. But again, that's because I've got a vested interest in YouTube, and I think it's, it would be like getting broken up with, and finding little trinkets or little memories of the person who broke up with you, right? And you want to deal with that. You want a clean break, and I kind of feel like that's how I would feel if that happened. I asked him if we can have auto updating of data to keep it up to date, basically, most of the AI stuff. Yeah, I wonder, that's a really good question, Tom. I would love to know what the response to that auto updating information was, because that I think that would be an interesting idea. Um, Benchmark. I mean, again, I think this might be a fun thing to do one of these weekends just for the hell of it. Just, do a live stream installing this and testing it out. Could be a lot of fun. Zero Linux says, in case you missed the great news, I'm finally able to leave this place away from the war. That is good news. I'm really, really happy. Let's see, April 30th will be gone, never to come back. Thanks to my community, they made it happen. Dude, that's great. Congratulations. I'm really, really glad that that's happening for you, man. Peter says, happy Sunday, brothers and sister. Peter here from Montreal. Glad to have you. Nighthawk says, my Ryzen 9 AI 370 screams. I believe that. Just make sure you set your file sizes correct so the quality is good, but the size is low. Also run Jellyfin or Plex to store shows and movies. Agreed. Have you seen the new GM Tech PC that's coming out? The ET8 Prime did a first look on. It's a beast. I haven't seen that. The GMK Tech Evo T2. Oof, that's brutal. Man, that's a beast of a machine. It's kind of the big brother to what I'm currently running out here. I'm running the GMK Tech K12. Let me see if I can even find it. K series, K16, K12, but I don't know which version of the K12. Let me see. CPU. This is the Ryzen 7 H255. This one. This is the computer that I'm currently running right now. It's got 32 gigs, so I'm running this one right now. And so they sent this to me a few months ago when my mental health was garbage. So I actually just today sent them an email to find a compromise to get them the exposure they deserve. Because this is such a great machine. But let's go back and take a look at this. I want to see 64 gigs and 1 terabyte. 64 gigs of RAM is a bunch. It's the T2S, the Intel version, the T2, Intel's version of the Strix Halo. Man, that's going to be a beast of a machine. RAM prices are wow. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's kind of why it was part of the issue that I had when I got the device. It was shortly after that RAM prices fell off, and I was like, for people are having a hard enough time finding RAM, and if you can find it, the prices on it are ridiculous, and like they've come down a little bit, but not enough to make it feasible, and that sucks. Like it sucks a lot that the mini PC that used to cost you $300 or $400 is now $800 or $900 because of the price of RAM, and that's brutal. And that was kind of the reason that I haven't made the content, was because it feels disingenuous to be like, hey, look at what I've got. Go see if you can buy one, because makes me seem like a dick. Even though I wouldn't present it that way, that's how I would feel that I was presenting it. So I've reached out with a possible compromise that would hopefully actually give them more exposure for me advertising this and them. So hopefully I will hear back from them in the next several days. Let's see. I've never had a mini PC. Haven't really had a reason to have one. That's fair. That's fair. For up until the last couple of years, I've always had like a big tower PC, whether it was bought or built or whatever. But like the GMK Tech, like the K12 or even this Evo T2, would probably handle anything you could ever possibly throw at it. And if we look, yeah. Oh, you piece of garbage. If we look right here, kind of right here in the dead center, Under this display port, there's an Oculink port. And the cool thing about an Oculink port is it is a PCI Express slot in a smaller port. And I've currently got a 2070 plugged into this, just for extra transcoding power for these live streams and that sort of thing. But if you get a GPU dock and your favorite GPU and a power supply, of course, to power it, you can throw any kind of GPU you want at a system like this and really take it to the next level. Like my wife is currently using a mini PC with an AMD 7600 XT, I think, with 16 gigs of VRAM, and like Cyberpunk and Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 have never looked better. And she's on a mini PC with an external GPU, and it's friggin' amazing. The T2 is unified memory. Oh. That's an interesting concept as well. I wasn't aware of that. That is an interesting, that changes things a little bit, right? Like now I see why both of these are 64 gig. If that's unified memory, that really does change everything. It doesn't actually, is this? Yeah, the T2. It doesn't actually say anything about that here, but that's interesting. Both the two towers you saw in my stuff that I shared, that's fair. DB kind of made Collins and I switch as well, and I wouldn't go back. That's fair. Yeah, the systems that I sent you guys, decent systems. I just didn't have a use for them, and I thought you guys would. So I'm glad you're both getting use out of them. Like I love a good mini PC. Like I've got 3 more up there. I don't even know what this one is, or if this is this the replacement for that one? I wonder. Hold on. I'm really actually curious here. Oh, this is, I don't even know who this is from. Oh, Camrui. So I've got like 5 of them sitting around, and again, I should probably find something to do with them, or find the boxes and sell them or something, because they're just sitting there. But I'm a big fan of mini PC. Like I'm using the Aluris One as my daily driver, because it's just, they're small, they're compact, they're more powerful than they've ever been, and I love them. ADHD Entertainment is here. Glad to have you. Yeah, the memory bandwidth is the giveaway. Yeah, that's fair. I have this few Xeons with 16 gigs of DDR4 or 3 in them. I had a mini PC. I'll probably use it for Home Assistant and stop the VM that I have it running on. That's fair. Like that's not a bad deal. Like that wouldn't actually be bad at all. Contest time giveaways. I mean, maybe. Weird, on your view of the T2 doesn't say the price. On mine it does. It shows this. Like I just hadn't scrolled down far enough. So there is a price there. It just depends on which version, and they're all sold out. So mine are just N100s and N150s, and nothing wrong with that. They're low power, they're efficient. My Homelab will be my Steam Deck. No other use for it. Man, that's an issue I wish I had. I would love to have a Steam Deck. I would love to have a Steam Deck. It would make my life no different than it currently is, other than I could game in bed more easily. But I don't game enough to really make it make sense. So that's why I've never bothered to get one. But I've always wanted a Steam Deck. You scroll down over here, it shows the speed. Let's see. Oh, yeah, 8533. Oh, and that's why, because these are all images. These are all images, so you can't search the actual image here. So that's interesting. Just started with my old laptop music streaming in Navidrome. Now I have an i7 9700 setup that's running 20 different services. It's actually fun. Hell yeah, it's fun. That's why we do this, and partially because we're masochistic. But I'm glad you're having fun with it. Practical IT with Jeremy says, hey, DB Tech, wanted to stop in and say thanks for your recent suggestion of folder sync in your OMV video. It's a great piece of software. Yeah, it is. I'm glad you saw that and picked up on that. I tested so many different Android options for backing up a phone, or an Android phone specifically, and that one just kept making the most sense. So I'm glad it's useful. I'm glad you're enjoying using that, Jeremy. Jason says I have an M4 Mac Mini as my daily driver too. I've still been kicking that around, even since last week when we were talking about the MacBook Neos. I've been kicking that around as well, because I think it would be a lot of fun to have one, but I don't know if I would actually use it as much as I think I would want to. Closest thing of a Steam Deck is an OG PSP. Yeah, I've got one of those. It's actually above my desk in the other room. I've got a shelf above there with, let's bring this over here. I've got a shelf above kind of where you guys are, that's got like all my little like retro handheld games. They're all the new retro systems that have got like, that come with like 5,000 games or whatever. But up there, I've still got a PSP, and the plug is for some reason in my nightstand, like the power plug for it. I don't know why these things end up where they do. I have a Nintendo Switch, but no time to play. Same. I've got a Nintendo Switch that gets played every once in a while. Roll the floor masochistic. Why is it not working? Yeah, 100%. Planning on getting Nextcloud AIO to move away from Discord and also maybe utilize AI for emails. In a recent video, you did mention not being a fan of Nextcloud. Why? Bad updates? Great question. Part of it is the install process. Part of it is the update process. Part of it is the backup process. Part of it is if I'm being completely honest here, is the community. Some of the comments in the video I did about in the Nextcloud, some of those comments were people just being dicks. And it's honestly, and my biggest issue with it is it tries to be the everything app for everyone. It's phone backup, it's calendar, it's email, it's notes, it's chat, it's video, it's trying to be absolutely everything in one thing all at once. And that seems like a lot of things for one app to try to be. I understand it's an app with plugins and modules or whatever they're called in there, but for me, it's the constant maintenance. It's the having to run cron jobs on it basically every 10 minutes to keep it running quickly. And I found workarounds for it, but like if the software needs it, it should be built into the software. I shouldn't have to come up with a workaround to get cron jobs running, right? If it requires a cron job, have a cron job page where I can say, or just have default cron jobs like, hey, these things are going to run every 30 minutes. Friggin' great, do that. But don't make me have to go through and set up cron jobs on my server or cron jobs with a third-party solution like I figured out. Make it part of the system. Make it so the user can customize that, as far as what makes the most sense for their particular use case. But don't make it so that I have to do extra work to make sure that your software keeps working, even if it is on my server. And that's what I hate about it. It was the hand-holding. It was the constant hand-holding with Nextcloud. And then again, the maintenance, so many things would break on updates. I learned a lot trying to run it, and I learned that it wasn't worth my efforts. So Peter's been using it with good success. That's awesome. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. And I just happen to be in that group of people that don't. Maybe I would have better luck if I threw it on bare metal, right? Rather than trying to virtualize it, running it in an Elixir or a VIA. Maybe if I put hard drives in this and spun up an Ubuntu server or with Nextcloud or whatever, maybe I would have better luck. But the experience with the way I run my infrastructure, it doesn't work. So, or at least not well. Let's see. Camru says I need some suggestions for creating a NAS. Is it good to run multiple old SAS drives with low capacity or 2 to 3? Oh, I would absolutely go newer drives, high capacity drives. Older SAS drives, depending on how many hours they've got, are more likely to fail. And so I would feel more comfortable with either new higher capacity or low capacity. Oh yeah, I would definitely go new high capacity or even refurbished high capacity. That's how I would prefer to do it. It's a server that tries to do everything but not well. That's kind of how I feel about it. I run my NC instance on a VM and Unraid. Cool. I'm really glad that works for you, but I've never had good luck with it. Jeremy says I ran Nextcloud on a VPS for about 3 years. It was great until it wasn't. Updates broken in spectacular fashion. That's what happened to me. And honestly, if that was my first experience of losing everything and not having a backup. And the reality is that could be a big part of my hang up, is that I lost like a year's worth of data. Again, my fault for not having a backup, but yeah, like I did an update and it crashed spectacularly and I couldn't recover anything. And again, because and a lot of that was my fault for not having the backup. But it was a real crap hitting the fan situation. So that's probably a big part of my hang up as well. Somewhat regret getting 8 4-terabyte drives in my NAS. It's just too much noise even at idle. Toshiba drives for a home NAS. I prefer some 5400 RPM 6-terabyte drives instead. That's fair. I think most of the drives that I've got are 8-terabyte. I've got some 4s and some 6s laying around. But let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find the place where I get my drives here. Why would you need to text message me that? That's stupid. Yeah, that's fine. Saved sellers. Let me see here. Yeah. So these are the guys that I get my drives from. I've been getting drives from these guys for years now. And really their prices aren't too bad. I mean, 14-terabyte drives is not a bad deal, man. Holy crap, 26 terabyte drives, guys. Can you imagine loading up your NAS with 26 terabyte drives? Can't even fathom that. But these are 4 terabytes, 2 terabytes, 10 terabytes. So again, I think almost all of my drives are 8 terabytes. I've got one NAS that's got 2 10s in it and something else, but I don't remember what. But it is Go hard drives, well spotted. Yeah, but I've been a really big fan of them for a long time. Hard drive prices are going way too high. A 6 terabyte Iron Wolf Research drives for around 350. Yeah, that sucks. Um, and that's the way the world is right now. Like that's a really good deal right here. 14 terabyte drive for $300. Um, I would happily get, you know, 5 or 6 of those and throw that in a NAS. Granted, it would cost me $1,800, but you know, to have, what would that be, 70? I mean, depending on the RAID you used, if you did 5 of them, or if you did 6 with one failover, you'd have like 70 terabytes of hard drive space. But still, yeah, super expensive. And I don't see the prices coming down anytime soon. Yeah, they need to bring back the old DVD or Blu-ray RAM burners to use as archive backups like the old tape. Dude, tape's coming back too, though. I've seen a lot of people doing stuff with tape over the past few months, and that's an interesting thought as well. Like I get the point. I can't imagine trying to find everything on tape. Um, God, I used to have so many DVDs of backed up data that I don't. I think I've got one device in the house right now that will accept a disc, and it's my Xbox One. Um, and it wouldn't obviously do me a lot of good. But yeah, anyway, I get my drives from these guys, and I've been lucky in that I haven't had a drive fail yet. With DVD or Blu, it would store more and last longer. Well, yeah, I get, and it would be faster to access. That's expensive. The Iron Wolf NAS $600 or 6 terabyte here new. Well, and a bit, yeah, like with tech prices going up everywhere and the tariffs here in the United States, our prices are a bit are a bit out of whack, and I'm not a big fan. Biden Ben says, "Is refurb hard drives a good way to go?" Um, it depends on where you get them. There are was it server deals? I think is another one. Yeah, server part deals. Um, I've never dealt with these guys, but I've heard really good stuff about them. Um, let's just look at like these, right? 8 terabyte, 2 terabyte. All of these are going to come with some sort of warranty. God, price per terabyte, $64. That's icky to even say. As long as you get a good warranty on them, and that's one of the reasons that I really like Go Hard Drive. If you come over to here and you do like read more, this item has, okay, that's eBay. Yeah. So eBay on this gives a 1 year warranty, but Go Hard Drive gives a 5 year warranty. Um, and that is actually a pretty good warranty as far as I'm concerned. Again, I've never had a drive from Go Hard Drive fail on me yet. It's not to say that it won't happen. Um, I've been fortunate that I've only ever had a couple of drives fail on me ever. You know, but yeah, so I've been really fortunate in that regard, and I'm really happy every time I bought something from these guys. They package things well, they ship quickly. Um, yeah, and like it says, this is gonna say to where does it? Where was that? How do I keep losing that? What is it? 0 bad sectors. Where else does it say that? Oh, right here. There we go. 0 bad sectors, grade A refurbished, fully tested, pass and sector by sector test, factory diagnosed software, no stuck freezes, hard drives, perfectly smooth and high performance, 5 year warranty from the reseller. Like you can't really beat that, especially at that price, because prices everywhere sucks. No issues with Go Hard Sales. Yeah, they are good sellers. I agree with that, Jason. Depends on where you get them and their support. Yeah. And again, from my experience, like I've actually even reached out to these guys once or twice just to see if they'd be interested in sponsoring some content. And they're like, hey, well done on the content, but we're not interested. Like they were polite, they were kind, they acknowledged good group of people over there as far as I can tell. For me, I've had countless 2.5-inch drives fail. And I think the reason for that, and I may be completely wrong in my assessment here, when you're dealing with 2.5-inch drives, they're very often in enclosures, they're very often in laptops, they're very often in portable things. And if you're dealing with like hard drives, you've got to be careful with jarring them, moving them weird, bouncing them, whatever, right? And I think if you've got a 2.5-inch hard drive in a laptop, I think that they're going to be more susceptible to that kind of damage. And that sucks. But I could absolutely see how that could happen. Glad I've picked up my HP Z820 on eBay about 2 years ago. Dual Xeon 256 gig memory. That machine would cost me a fortune today. Yeah, it would. International shipment. I would assume so. But I don't actually know. Um, I guess you'd have to go check and see. But yeah, you're looking for, Go Hard Drive, if you jump on there and just see if they'll ship to you. I don't know why they wouldn't. Mr. Johansson says, if you had a few spare 1 terabyte drives lying around, how would you use them yourself? And what would you recommend people do in the same situation, provided you already had a NAS? If I had a bunch of 1 terabyte drives laying around, I would take them apart and repurpose the magnets. Uh, I know that makes me sound maybe a little out of touch, and I get that. Um, I guess it depends on the number of them. I guess it depends on the amount of extra hardware I had laying around to do something with them. Um, I don't know what use you would have for a 1 terabyte drive at this point. Um, let's see. I know we're talking about hard drives, but is there a social network? Yeah. Um, self-hosted social network. No, no, no. Um, hold on. Let me. Yeah, like Social Home. Go to Social HumHub. HumHub is actually pretty cool. I actually did a video on HumHub at some point, and it's kind of like your own little Facebook. I wonder if there's pictures, but it's basically a self-hosted Facebook that's extensible. Like you can write plugins for it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Um, Community edition. Let's look at this. Maybe they've got some pictures over here. Of course not. This is not it. Try the demo for free. No. Anyway, I would definitely take a look at HumHub, or Friendica, I think, is very similar. Go to Social, again, very similar. Those are probably the three self-hosted social medias that I would look at. I've only really got any experience with HumHub, though. Yeah, you could do a JBOD. That's a good point. Again, it depends on how many you've got. Nextcloud Social, right? Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny too. Is there any RSS feeds that you follow regularly? There are. Oops, fresh RSS. Let me get logged in here, and I'll give you a rundown on what I do here. Subscription management. So basically, I get notifications every morning at like 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock or something. For all of the stuff in this list here. Announcements from the TrueNAS community, fresh RSS. So all of these are RSS feeds for popular apps that a lot of people use. So like fresh RSS, Home Assistant, Image, Jellyfin, Nextcloud, Portainer, Proxmox, AdGuard, Affine, Arcane. Like, I'm not going to read all of these. Oh, you brought me iced tea. Thank you so much.
Did, and I started.
Yay. So like these are all, I think I've got like 90 something interesting. Here we go. Basically, I get notifications about all of these things. Anytime there's an update, I get a notification. And basically, what I do is I use an N8N automation that goes through my feed every morning. And it pulls out, some of the stuff that isn't as relevant. Maybe it's a release candidate or it's a beta or something like that that isn't necessarily ready for prime time. It's not too bad, actually, as far as notifications are concerned. It absolutely seems like it could be, but like again, there's 90 something, I think 80 or 80 to 90 in here. And it's not like they're all pushing something new every day, right? Like some of them are once a week, some of them are every couple of weeks, some of them are every few months. But then I get a notification in the morning with a quick summary of what the update was. And then I can share that as a social media post. So if you follow me on social media, this is where all of that starts. Is I've collected this list of self-hosted services that I get notifications on when something comes through, and I don't read every notification. It's just a matter of what makes sense and what actually is something that would be worth making a social media post account about. Crazy Finn says, good evening. Glad to have you here. Mindben mentions IRC. I was never into tech back when IRC was a big player. I have a few that I follow up and use N8N to send me to my Home Assistant dashboards. Put a picture in the Discord. Man, if I could talk, maybe some tea will help. I'm sure that'll go well with my chocolate protein shake. Oh, hey, she did stir it. Last week, she brought iced tea out that was great, but like all of the lemon, it was like actually fresh squeezed lemon was still at the bottom, right where my straw was, and I just got a mouthful of lemon. She swears that she didn't do it on purpose, and I mostly believe her. Oops, let's see. So this is, that is, that is an interesting way to read that. I feel like I would rather have like two. Oh, I see how you've got it broken up into separate things there. Interesting. I do something similar with N8N that sends me notifications. Let me get over here. I want to make sure I don't share anything inappropriate or whatever. So like this morning, I guess this came through at 4 o'clock. I got an update about Athelia, Jerniv, Posties, and Home Assistant. Like all of those came through as things that I could share for social media points. I've never used Affine. I think it's an interesting idea, but I'm currently using Obsidian for all of my notes. So I haven't looked at Affine. Yep, got it. Do the same with keeping tabs on my Homelab. But I also grabbed Tom Lawrence's list. He posted also local news. That's cool. I hate to see how many apps or software you're running on your Homelab. It's not as many as you might think, though I do need to do another video about it. Proxcube. We can look at it real quick. I'm cool with that. Because again, it's not. Oh geez. Oh, that doesn't matter anyway. The first thing I opened up was this container, and the boot disk is full, but I'm not actually using either of these anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Proxmox Data Center Manager can actually just get stopped. I'm not using that for anything. I think same thing with Tianji. I'm not using that one. 13-foot ladder is actually Moretta. And that is great for websites that have paywalls. So if you're not familiar with that, you should be. Dumppad, I can probably shut down at this point. Newt, I can also shut down. Holy cow, man! I really need to do a better look at this. Shopping list is Coffin or Coffan. Been using that since I made the video about it, and my wife and I love it. Link stack is being used. RSS and N8N. So that's fresh RSS and N8N running together. I put those together on the same container here because they're working as a single component in my setup. Espo CRM is something I recently implemented. If you go to like dbtechreviews.com and click on collaborate, you can fill out this form. But again, like it says here, this form is not for tech support. And I'm not hiring editors or artists. Don't use this for any purpose other than sponsorships and collaborations. But basically, if you fill this out, it shoots an API call over to Espo CRM. And from there, I'm able to create new opportunities and keep track of them in a more business-oriented fashion, where I've been failing miserably. I've got some invoicing set up that I'm still not 100% sure about. Homelab Launchpad Ghost is still up, but I haven't done anything with Homelab Launchpad in a long time. DB Tech Reviews, that's this website over here, where I sometimes update things depending on what's going on in my life. URLs, I use that for a link shortener. AdGuard Home, I use for that. Password Manager, I've got an instance of LinPaste up that I only keep up because I've got so many videos that have got links to code blocks that are hosted there that I just leave it running. DB Tech, that is .com. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's that one. Homelab Tunnel, that's remote access. Espo MCP, I'm actually going to get rid of. That was me trying some stuff with AI. Posties, I use literally every day. One of the things that I like about Posties, oh, I don't have it up, is it actually tells me like what my streak is, and I try to keep a streak going. I locked that there. My focus keeps flickering and it pisses me off, so hopefully that's fixed. Comma feed, I think I can actually get rid of. Live sync, I think I can actually get rid of. But basically, that is syncing between all of my different instances of Obsidian. Speed test, my AI game. If you haven't seen that, you should. It's fun. Game.dbtechreviews.com. Let me make sure my desktop audio is off because it'll be annoying otherwise. But I made a video where I talked about this. And it's just a little AI game that I didn't build, if I'm honest, because AI built it for me. But I was playing with this, and I think it's fun to have up. What else? And then Ansible and Semaphore and support, all of that can go away. Home Assistant, Plex, TrueNAS, all of that. That's really all I've got running in my Homelab, other than some NASs for backup storage. Except you couldn't see my stuff there, but yeah, just this little game here. But anyway, that's what I've got running. Are you overcommitting RAM on Proxmox? You're gonna be a Gave Dem for a hot minute. Yeah, not gonna happen, man. Hold on, I missed something up here. Have you taken a look at Sharkford yet? Sharkford is in my search results. Self-hosted chat platform. I have not. I have not looked at Sharkford yet. Here's what I'm gonna do though. I'm gonna open up my Obsidian. I'm gonna do this. Oh no, cancel, not that. Obsidian. Obsidian and OBS start with the same 3 letters, so I often try to open the wrong thing. Let's see, OMV8, projects to try. So I'm gonna add this to a note here. Sharkford. And I'm gonna add that so that it's actually in my list of things to try. I know you can't see it. That's on purpose. I don't really want to share my my Obsidian here. Are you overcommitting RAM on Proxmox, and what can be the issue doing this? I guess I don't understand your question. Am I overcommitting RAM? I try to make sure that I've got a good amount of overhead on everything. Like if I look here, I'm using 36 of 64 gigs of RAM. One thing I do want to do at some point though, because I recently upgraded my system from 32 to 64 gigs. What I do want to do at some point is upgrade my TrueNAS. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, sorry. This kid was making weird noises. He does that sometimes. Everything's fine. Yes, but giving up more RAM than you have in the machine. I don't know. I think it boils down to whether or not go to resources. I mean, I wouldn't want to overcommit if I don't have to. I do overcommitting on my NUCs, but not as much as I do on some of my PVE systems. Well, there you go. Nighthawk's doing it. It's probably fine. Do you actually use OMV for anything in your lab? Not presently. I used to. That's like Open Media Vault is how I got started in self-hosting. Like it helped me understand Docker a little bit better and helped me understand shares and SMB and user permissions and like setting a PUID and a PGID in a Docker container. Open Media Vault helped me understand all of that. 6 years ago, almost 6.5 years ago when I first started self-hosting. So I don't currently use it, but I think it's a great NAS software. If all you need is a NAS, right? If all you need is file storage, and you want to have multiple users and that sort of thing, I think it's a great solution. Some of their other stuff with their built-in, or like when you install the Open Media Vault extras and some of the Docker stuff, I don't like their Docker management interface. I don't like it at all. I only install the Docker portion of that so that I can install Portainer. Like Tom says, I use Open Media Vault for storage because it's lightweight and dead simple. That was kind of the point I was trying to make. If you want to install things like Docker and you want to install remote access, you can do all of those things. But I think for a lot of that, there are better solutions. But I'm doing the Open Media Vault series because I do one every time there's a new release. I did 5. I touched on 6. 7 was a little bit better. 8 is 7 on Debian 13 with a few little tweaks. So there's really not a big difference between 7 and 8, other than the back end going from Debian 12 to Debian 13 and a couple of little fixes. But Um, but no, I'm not. Again, great software if you need something dead simple, um, but I've been using Proxmox for the last few years. And in fact, I'm pretty sure now that I'm even looking at this, like if I came over to here and went to updates, yeah, I've got so many updates that I need to do. And I'm sure that once I run these updates, there will be more updates. 74 there, and 46 down here. So there's some for Debian and there's some for Proxmox. One of these days, I need to update all of this again. Um, Glenn says, howdy from Nebraska. Been fun listening. Had to stop and get some milk and cookies. Thought I'd say hi. Well, I'm glad you did. I was actually hoping you'd stop at some or be able to stop at some point and say hi. This, would you be personally comfortable using open or OMV8 in a commercial setting? Medium-sized business of 50 to 100 employees is achieved as a file storage server? Absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, you can set up user groups to give permissions that way. You can set up individual user permissions. You can set up shares for groups. You can set up shares for users. You can share shares between groups and users. All kinds of good stuff that you can do with Open Media Vault. Just make sure that you've got a good backup solution in place. I don't know what that currently looks like with where things are right now. I haven't gotten that far into it. But make sure you've got a good backup solution for Open Media Vault or any platform that you deploy, especially for a business. I don't know if I got anything else to say about that. Looking to Pulse Monitor PVE and the Proxmox Data Center Manager for monitoring and notifications. So I've tried Data Center Manager a few times, and it's currently, at least last time I used it, it's so hit and miss as to whether or not it. There we go. It's so hit and miss for me. Whether or not it will actually transfer something appropriately or whatnot. But I guess if you're just doing monitoring, it's probably fine. Do you not automate your updates? No, God, no. I did a couple of times, and in one video, in a video I made a couple of weeks ago, I talked about pinning versions. Like if you're pinning versions of your Docker containers, that's one thing. If you're running latest tags on everything, I wouldn't do that. But I don't automate any of my updates anymore, except on one of my NASs. There's stuff running on there that I just don't care about. Like if it crashes and I got to rebuild it, fine, whatever, I don't care. But even that instance isn't doing much heavy lifting anymore. So, I get notifications through Godify. I haven't looked at them in months, but I get them. And then periodically, like I'll go through D7. Man, I don't even know what port this is on. I know you can't see my screen. That's fine. Oh, oops. Hate it when I type the wrong password. Apps. Man, I don't even know what port this is on. Hold on, guys. Give me a second here. Oops. So like when I've got an update available, like I can come into here. This is on TrueNAS. I've got all of these containers running here on TrueNAS. Zoom out a little bit. So like with these, I can tell that the Bazaar, Double Commander, Prowler, I can tell all of those need updates. Because of the image name here, it's not what it should be. So I can just, I can just come in and and here in a second, it'll be updated, and that works really well for me. Let's see. Any reason you're not using SSL in your local services? No. We actually talked about it a while back in Discord, about setting up, like Nginx Proxy Manager to run, like internal SSLs and that sort of thing. I just don't care. If I've got to go, if I do 18, 3, oh, like if I run into this screen, that doesn't take me any more effort than much of anything else. So I don't really worry about it too much. I do have things that I've got accessible on a domain that's only accessible from a couple of different IP addresses. I don't know if there was a way to set up, service.local or HTTPS service.local and actually pull an actual SSL for it. I might do that. But if I'm going to put something on a domain name, I don't know. I don't necessarily need it. How do you set up that view in Portainer? I'm not sure which view you're looking for. I do it because I think it's cool, local SSL, and that's fair. Like again, if I could set up, I can't see. Oh, so how did I do that? That's actually because I have Watchtower running. In fact, I need to swap out this version of Watchtower if I'm being honest. Oh, you can't see that. I'm running Watchtower, and when Watchtower when Watchtower detects that there's an update available, it will swap out the image name for some reason. I didn't realize it at first, but that's what it does. In fact, again, I need to Watchtower. Yeah. So in fact, I'll just do this live right now, right? Like if we look at my Portainer instance, this is container, right? If we go to stacks, and go to Watchtower, and then hold on. Oh, poopies. Hold on. There we go. That's fine. So again, like you can see here that I'm running the container version. This is the version that's not being updated anymore. So I can just grab this Nick Fetter, and I can just drop that in there, and then I can redeploy this, and it will just keep working, and it'll have the more updated version. And then I will get notified and that sort of thing. In fact, so that's what I'm going to do. But I've got stuff in here that for like passwords and URLs that I didn't want you guys to see. But basically, I will fix that. And here in a moment, I'll be up and running. Update the stack. And then here in a moment, I'll have it up and working with the updated version. If I go back to containers here, here we've got the Nick Fetter Watchtower. It is starting up. And yeah, so anytime there's an update, just come into here, recreate, repull image, recreate, and I'm up and going. Oh, let's see. Some people are okay with IP addresses instead of domain names. I go both ways on that. I use both. I want to send a wake on LAN packet whenever a request is made to a service running on my computer to save on power. Um, there was actually a container that I did a video on that it wasn't necessarily a wake on LAN for the hardware, but it would basically it would turn containers off and on depending on whether or not they were getting traffic. And I cannot remember the name of that. But I thought that was kind of a cool thing. The problem with it that I ran into it was that sometimes it would take a little while for a container to come up if it required. It was like was it Lazy Docker or Lazy Docker? Maybe that's what it was. Hold on, let me find this. See if I can find it. I think it was called Lazy Docker was the name of it. Um, Designed to simplify container management and provides visual dashboard for monitoring logs, viewing. No, lazy. Hold on, lazy load Docker container. Guess it is. I guess it is Lazy Docker. Dude, Sven, thank you so much for donating 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. That actually goes a long way to help build the community, and that's really awesome. So thank you for gifting 5 memberships. What the hell? Did we? That was weird. I have no idea what happened there. I just looked over and we weren't. Yeah, get the raccoons back. Dude, I don't know what happened there. I had to manually restart it. I don't know what happened there. That was really, really weird. Huh. Well, I'm glad we're back. I looked over and I wasn't there, and I was like, "What the hell?" I may have used other words, but hell was one of them. Uh, but oh, I think yeah, I think my internet hiccuped because like TrueNAS, my TrueNAS screen just reloaded. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me look at fast.com. Just no, we're fine. Must be the NSA. That wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, uh, um, but yeah, so like anyway, if I basically anything that I need access to, I can just type in, like, oops, that's not one. What the hell, man? I don't understand what's going on. So weird. But I can usually just type in the service that I want and it'll autofill for me. On this, I don't do a lot out here, so I think is my internet being stupid? Is that what's going on here? I'm so confused. Like this keeps reloading on me. Like everything over here says that everything is fine. Stream health is excellent. Like I don't know what is going on. Huh. The data center has that huge data. The NSA has that huge data center. Yeah. Lisa stream. Stream it's 100K for now. You're still using dial-up, right? Yeah, except that except that I'm not on dial-up. So I don't. Again, I'm not sure. Yeah, Homelab, right? Um, like I've got, like I've got this that. Oh, the kid's watching Bob's Burgers. That's good. Glad to see that. So if there's stuff that I really need to take a look at, I can. I can pop these open and everything's fine. So there's certain things that I can pop open easily from here. So I've got different ways that I can get so that I can get the information that I'm looking for. I don't even remember. I think that's right. Yeah. Um, that's the last 24 hours. So yeah, I'm pretty consistent on here. Um, last week. Yeah, and it's symmetrical, so I'm really happy with that. And my pings are, that was a couple of days ago. But anyway, that's, probably a YouTube thing. Man, I don't know. I thought that at first too. But then like my TrueNAS screen kept reloading on me. I don't know. Everything seems to be fine now, so I guess it is what it is. But man, I don't know. Oh man, let's man, bonkers stuff here. I'm sorry, I'm still taken aback by the number of views the last couple of videos have gotten. Like I didn't expect it. I hoped, obviously, you always hope that your videos will do well. But to have both of these videos kind of do what they're doing kind of gives me a little bit of hope that I can um, not quit doing tutorials, because I want to keep doing tutorials, but gives me kind of a break from doing them all of the time. Um, and again, the response I'm getting, the views I'm getting, the subscribers that I'm getting tell me that people are interested in this kind of content. If you haven't seen my last couple of videos, the one about EuroOffice, the one about LibreOffice, I think they're worth a watch. People seem to really enjoy them. So hopefully I can keep making content like this in addition to the tutorials, and further grow the community, have more people join the live streams. Like I'm seeing a lot of new names in the live stream today, and I'm guessing that at least part of that has come from these last few videos. Are you going to talk about what's wrong with Nextcloud and what you use instead? Just put a few more red circles and thumbnails, dude. I have been, look, I will point. I guess I point this way. To something. I don't usually use circles to highlight something that isn't there, because that used to be a thing. Um, Sorry, Cass Tyson says, are you going to talk about what's wrong with Nextcloud and what you use instead? Probably not. I've made several videos about Nextcloud over the years. We actually did a live stream several months ago about Nextcloud. It was Home Assistant. CloudDrive is an option. It's got some limitations though. Nextcloud, when was this? Oops. That was July 19th of 2025. So almost a year ago, we did a live stream about installing Nextcloud AIO, asking if it was going to be a redemption arc or another disaster. And it quickly became another disaster. Even with other people in the chat, it didn't go well. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to talk much about Nextcloud if I don't have to. JD's here. Glad to have you. Let's see. I don't know if you've noticed that Homelab tutorials have fallen off in frequency lately. Yeah, they absolutely have. And a lot of it has to do And I don't want to get into a big discussion about it, but I will just say that part of it is a direct result of AI and vibe coding. I'm actually working on a script about this particular topic and some of the pitfalls of AI vibe coded apps. Not all of them, a very specific subsect of them that's causing issues in the community. I'm working on that script right now. I'm hoping to be able to record it like Monday. I've still got to do our taxes. So at some point in the next few days, my plan is to do that video as well. And it's not that vibe coding necessarily is bad. It's the things going on behind the scenes that actually causes the issues that we're seeing. And it's what we're seeing is an influx of vibe coded apps that aren't being security reviewed. They're not being, they get built, they get deployed, and they never get touched again. So they get no maintenance, they get no updates, they get no support. And the community is just being inundated with them. Slop is one word for it. But it's more than slop. And again, I'm working on that script right now. I'm just about done with it. I've been doing a lot of this stuff lately as far as researching and building these scripts. And I think this one will touch the community a little bit differently. Because again, I'm not necessarily against using AI. And like so using my game as an example, Jason, I built that for me. Yes, it's online and people can play that game if they want to, but it's just JavaScript happening in a browser. And I know that JavaScript can do things, but this is click your mouse, point where you want it to go, drop it, let it jump, right? People are doing stuff in their home labs with these apps that haven't been code reviewed, that haven't been properly maintained, they haven't been vetted, they haven't been tested, they haven't been maintained or updated, and people are deploying them, and then these apps disappear or they never get another release, and then there's a security exploit. It's a whole craptastrophe, and I'm working on that video next. So that's definitely coming. Yeah, the sad part is the potential damage to your infrastructure and others. That's kind of the point of the video, but it's a little bit more than that as well. And I no, totally get it, Jason. I know you're not being negative. Just an example. Yeah, that was me sitting at my desk one day because somebody on Discord on Reddit. What is it? Org? Yeah, somebody on Reddit had posted had made a post about this game, this 100jumps.org. And I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I told Claude that I wanted to build my own version of that. And within just a couple of minutes, it had built my version of the game that required, aiming, and it's got bad guys in it, and it's got all kinds of stuff in there as well. But my game came from me just being like, hey, Claude, I want to try to build a game similar to this. And it did it with no other prompting from me initially. But it also, my game started as a like, hey, I wonder what Claude would do if I told it I wanted to build my own version of this, and it did. But anyway, new videos coming about, and it's not just AI. It's about developers. It's about AI. It's about developers. It's about the community. It's kind of all of these things brought into one thing, and I'm real happy with where things are. Yeah, it is scary. It really is, because it didn't take much effort at all for me to get a completely different game that works very similarly, but is different. The other thing about this one is, like, I've been using my mouse But like you can also just, I think you can just use, yeah, you can use your keyboard if you want to do that, or you can use your mouse. Um, you know, it's however you want to handle it. I kind of switch back and forth depending on what I'm doing. But you know, but now here they're cross promoting another game that they built via AI. I assume this was built in AI. I don't know that for sure. But you know, some more content coming, and I'm genuinely thankful to the people who have been watching the new type of content that I've been putting out lately. The more, I don't know necessarily that it's journalistic. I don't know what to classify it as, if I'm honest. But I'm really thankful for the people who have been watching the content, who are then, as a result, subscribing. Cass, we've just been hanging out and chatting about whatever comes up in chat. I've always got the fallback to go over to, to the self-host newsletter and dig through here just to see what's going on. But yeah, like the video that came out yesterday is also, Ethan and I did not plan this. Like it was really weird. Ethan and I were chatting in a private chat a couple of days ago. I guess it was Thursday, about EuroOffice and LibreOffice, the Document Foundation. We both happened to come up on this same story about the same time, which I thought was great timing. It wasn't planned. It just worked out that way, which is why I called out the newsletter in the video, was because I had that opportunity to do that. So, but yeah, so that's, so anyway, again, I'm super thankful that people are watching the content and enjoying it and subscribing. The idea that, in the last week, nearly 1,000 people have subscribed to the DB Tech channel blows my mind. I don't remember the last time I had that many subscribers come in a given week, and a lot of it has been my own fault. I'd fallen into a rut. I'd fallen into a bad rut of just, I've got to get a tutorial out. I've got to get a tutorial out. I've got to get a tutorial out. And it was becoming a grind more than it was anything else. And that was working violently against me. And that sucks. But I had an idea for a video and was like, hey, let me try this. And I made the video about, what was it? Not EuroOffice. Oh, is your Homelab actually safe? We were talking about the supply chain stuff. And that video did pretty well. And I was like, okay, that's encouraging. And, it's like almost 10,000 views, like just shy of 10,000 views. And then the EuroOffice thing came up and I was like, that's an interesting topic. Let me cover that. And then it did, it's at 54,000 views, which is big numbers on my channel. I'm used to 4, 5, 6,000 views, maybe 10. And that's over the like full lifetime run of the video. So for this to do, 54,000 views in less than a week, real happy with that. And then the LibreOffice video that's done 29,000 views in about the first 24 hours. Man, I am stoked on that. Like that really again gives me the confidence, the permission, I guess, that I needed here to branch away from tutorials. And I think that's going to be kind of how things are going to go, is I will still do tutorials when I find something that interests me. But in the meantime, I'll be doing more of these other types of stories. Other topics about age verification, router bands. I actually really love that idea. I'm gonna save that Audible video. I genuinely appreciate you saying that, because it was actually somebody in a live stream I want to say it was last week, who had mentioned Euro Office in the live stream, and I was like, cool, let's try that, and it did very well. And if you guys are asking for it, I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring it over here, new note. Oops. Suggestions. So yeah, I'm going to add those two list ideas over here because I think they're both good ideas. Helpful Tech DIY says, while app reviews are helpful, they mainly just point to something I should try. But what's happening in the community is informative and entertaining. And that's 100% it right there. You know, the reality is I can only demonstrate so many note-taking apps, or so many secret sharing apps, or so many file sharing apps, or so many whatevers, right? And I kind of feel like a lot of that has run its course. And I think that's part of the reason that we were talking about earlier, why a lot of the tutorials have fallen off recently, because there's only so many things, only so many of those, you know, note-taking, file sharing, secret sharing apps that you can demonstrate, that you can shine a light on before it's just like, bro, do we have to do this again? You know, so being able to, you know, do a little bit of research, you know, or find a topic idea or a couple of topic ideas, do a little bit of research, write a script, and then make a video out of it. Really, I find it more engaging. I find it more entertaining for myself. You know, and the subscriber numbers and the views speak to that. Tutorials have a proper staying power. You're absolutely right. And that's, you know, like when I look at like the Open Media Vault 8 videos that I've done, the multi-user setup video's done 2,000 views in 4 days. The Open Media Vault 8, the first video did almost 6,000 views in 2 weeks. The what's different about Open Media Vault 8 versus prior versions has done like 10,000 views, but those are evergreen pieces, right? Those are the ones that will build up steam over a period of time. So it's finding a balance between the stuff that's right now and the stuff that will build over time. And I'm working on that. And I kind of think, you know, like maybe one of each video each week, if I've got that opportunity, is probably the route that I will go. You know, the news, the journalistic stuff will keep people entertained and bring in new people, hopefully. And the tutorials will be kind of the long game for the evergreen content as well. Vaz says, it was me. I'll keep suggesting my stupid ideas your ways. Just got to verify that they're interesting or not, and go with it. Community power, dude. 100%, man. So thank you, Vaz, for suggesting that, because it was super helpful. Suggested. Sorry, I'm making a note here. Hero. There we go. But, you know, I think it'll be a matter of finding a balance of doing, you know, kind of one thing and then the other, and kind of a back and forth, one to keep the views and the subscribers coming in, and one to, you know, kind of build that evergreen long-term, you know, like Mr. Johansson there says, your OMV 8 video helped me muster up the courage to deploy one at work. That's what I'm after. I want to help people, you know, be able to understand how to do things, things that actually, matter in their own home lab or at work or whatever. Yeah, come for the app review, stay for the community. I love that. That's such a good catchphrase. That is a really good catchphrase. Helpful Tech DIY. I said city earlier. I apologize. Helpful Tech DIY. Helpful, man. My brain. I have to write stuff down. Helpful Tech DIY, not city. Again, I know I said city earlier and it didn't even register, and I apologize. There's only so many reviews you can do, and it was that grind of trying to find interesting things to review that I think led to at least part of my mental block, because I am so tired of seeing apps that are named after the R stack that have nothing to do with the R stack. I'm tired of seeing note-taking apps and file sharing apps that don't do anything unique or different, but they look a little bit different because whoever vibe coded it used a different AI platform. Um, so it's again, it's finding that balance, and that's been I think it's been going pretty well. We really are a great community, and there's a wealth of knowledge in our Discord server. That's true. That's true. And I've been really happy seeing that number of people in our Discord going up um, recently. I think we're at almost 1,100 users in here. We're at 1,090 members in the Discord server. Oh, interesting. So I'm looking at Discord here, and it looks like there was somebody who goes by Blob in Discord said I should look into Step CA for local domain certs, and then of course um, Nighthawk also had a response to that. Um, with so many apps these days, I think long-term long-term use reviews would work better. I agree. And that's why I'm doing the Open Media Vault series, not because it's something that I actually use right now, but because it's a good software that I think people will find useful, at least until 9 comes out. Um, I use different handles in different applications. In Discord, I'm Lance Tech. Oh, okay. I wonder if I can. Sorry, I was hoping that it would let me like put a little note to to help me keep that straight, because I'm really really bad with names. Like I'm so bad with names. I always have been. Like you could walk up and introduce yourself to me, and within 30 seconds, even if I said your name out loud, it would be gone. And I've always hated that. Um, but I think what I can do. That's tech. Interesting. In Discord, I actually can leave notes about people. Um, if I can find the people. But it's not like it, that's weird. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I will try to do my best to remember. I've always been really bad with remembering names. Even I do that trick. Uh, even if I do that trick of like, hi Lance, good to meet you, Lance. How you doing, Lance? It's gone after that, and it's been a problem in my brain. Cass says, "I'm sorry. What's your name again?" Sometimes it's like, "I'm sorry. What's my name again?" Like that's my memory with names is so bad. Um, but yeah, luckily I don't have to go out and deal with too much of that out in the real world very often anymore. The psychology of people who forget names easily. I think I think I may have seen this, or this creator anyway, based on the name of the video. Yeah, Psychology Simplified. I've actually been watching his stuff recently. I should probably watch that too. In fact, I should probably get subscribed to them, because I really do like their content. I need to subscribe to that. Um, But yeah, I need to watch this because he does a really good job of explaining things. And like, I understand that a lot of it is AI, but he recently did a video explaining, if I come over to here, it was like 2 weeks ago, he made a video about why. I thought it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe not. But anyway, yeah, I definitely need to look at that video because think too much. Oh, this one. I need to save this one to watch later. Because again, I really enjoy the content on here. The people who are too aware, I actually watched that last night. And like my wife was sitting in the other room and she could hear it. And with the way our desks are set up, she could actually see it too. And like he was saying things, I was like, holy crap, this is what I've been trying to explain for a long time. So yeah, good stuff. Hello, I'm Inigo Montoya and I'm your dad. If you don't get that reference, you're too young. I agree. I remember your face way before I remember your name. I agree with that. Yeah. I remember details about people, but sometimes forget names. You forget about what someone does, but they will make you remember how you feel. Yeah, that's true. The real trick is to imagine a mnemonic image. See Lance with a lancer spear going through his face, tying it into a notable feature like a bushy eyebrow or a cleft chin, and never forget a name again. That's an interesting idea. I will have to think about that. I don't know that would work for me, but it's an interesting idea. That's why everybody at work is called that colleague over there. Yeah, but how many times does colleague get replaced with the F word? That's the real question. All right. Let's see. About 83% of, yeah, I figured that might be the case because a lot of time colleagues are more than just colleagues. They're our friends over there, right? Um, but man, I sometimes miss the 9 to 5 routine with my medical stuff. That's that the idea of that terrifies me. But I miss sometimes going to work and working with a bunch of people that I kind of hate a little bit. Um, I've been in that situation, obviously, um, a few times over the years, and it's, you get to go find out what dumb thing they did, then you get to gossip about it later. Or the guy who doesn't tie his shoes. Oh, he needs to have his shoes tied together. I can't imagine not tying my shoes. Like I wear Hey Dudes most of the time, so I don't have to tie my shoes, but if you wear regular shoes and you don't tie them, I guess that's a choice. I guess that's really all I can say cuz I mean, I wore ridiculous clothes when I was younger. Like back in the day I used to wear jinkos and wallet chains and all kinds of stuff too, so oh, sorry, I missed Cass's question earlier. If you were starting fresh, what hardware software combo would you start with? I'm brand new. Video recommendations. See that one's hard to say. Because like my current setup is great. Like I've got a Zima Cube with 64 gigs of RAM. It's got 6 8 terabyte drives in it and four, I think four 1 terabyte NVMEs in it. that are running in 3 separate pools, and it's got a GPU plugged into it. Now, that said, it will only support a GPU that doesn't require external power. Like this one, in fact, this one won't even fit. This is too tall. But that's what I'm using. It's got a Sparkle A310 in it for transcoding. I need to do some updates on that VM. I've been running into some transcoding issues a couple of nights this week. Like the GMK Tech K12 K Tech. I'm going to bring this up because, damn it, come on. Okay, I don't care. This one, right? Again, this one is the one I'm currently, this is the one I'm using on the live stream with this one, right? The reason I like this is because, again, it's got the, if I can find the right pictures. Of course, now they're all gone. Maybe you can find it over here because it's basically the same thing. Oh, come on. I hate these, like when you click and they zoom all over the place. I hate them so much. And it's not just these guys that do it. It's a lot of different website companies, whatever. There it was. So what I like about the GMK series, at least the K12 that I'm aware of, right, is that it's got the Oculink, like I mentioned. It's got a 2.5, I think it's got a 2.5 gig and a 5 gig or 2.5 gig ports for LAN. It also supports 3 NVMe drives. So if you wanted to set up Proxmox on this, you could have 1 for your boot drive, 2 for your storage for the NVMEs, throw a GPU on it, and have a transcoding beast to store your your media on, all of your LXCs, your VMs. Would handle it very, very well with the Oculink port and some RAM. And so it's really a matter of what you want to do with it. What are your goals, Cass, is the question. Is like, what are you trying to build your home lab to do? It's like saying, what kind of car should I buy without knowing, am I a race car driver or do I live on a farm, right? Like, farm truck is going to be great on a farm, but not going to be real great on a racetrack, So it's finding the right hardware for the job that you're trying to accomplish. Gene Co's in middle school for me. That's funny. I would go into storage NAS, but just mini PCs for app servers. I don't necessarily disagree with what Helpful Tech DIY said there. If I was starting all over the money, we'd go to storage and NAS, but just mini PCs for app servers. I agree with that. Ben's comment got retracted for some reason. I don't know what Ben said. I apologize for missing that, I guess. Ben has or Snack Time has a message retracted there. I wonder how that would stack up against a Mac Mini as far as AI is concerned. Well, this one's got 64 gigs of unified memory on it. And the T2S has the Ultra X7385H CPU in it. I imagine it would be a beast. I guess somebody did a video on it here recently that was brought up earlier. The name has escaped me. And I know I'll feel like a jerk when somebody says it in chat, but apparently it's a beast. But it's also, a bit spendy here. Because I realized the title of the product answered my question. Fair enough. ETA Prime. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, ETA Prime apparently did a video about this. ETA Prime. Yeah, I did a video about it yesterday with Intel's most powerful iGPU. So yeah, that might be a good video to take a look at if you're interested. Yeah, at that price, it's a bit of a beast. I like the mini PC route. Been grabbing them up for a while. I have 4 in a backpack. Oh, I have 4 in backup. I read that as backpack, and I was like, why? And a Pi 4 gig. I've got a couple of Pis laying around. I think the only Pi that I've currently got up and running right now is controlling this screen. In fact, I just updated this today, and now I need to do it again because we have new members. I have 6 new members to add to the members list, but I usually do that at the beginning of the month. I was just a week behind this month. I have a big TrueNAS server. Time for a time server, right? Sometimes I wonder about your little sub hobbies of time servers and airplane tracking. And it's not just you, Nighthawk. It's several people in the Discord. It amuses me to see the time servers and that sort of thing. Like to see snack time on there. All you got to do is become a channel member or a patron, and then when I re-up the list once a month, it gets updated there. I feel called out. You should. You're part of the problem in the Discord with all of these weird little sub hobbies that it doesn't. I think it's actually kind of great that you guys have got. Oh, the Patreon link. That's a good question. Patreon.com/dbtech. Or it's dbtech or dbtechyt. Yeah, there it is. There, I'll share that for everyone. Hopefully that will work. Man, I didn't. Damn it. Well, yeah, that'll get you over there. Gearling got me started. Here's the thing. If I had things that were time sensitive enough that needed to be synchronized at that level, I might. But I don't, and it would just be adding more stuff that I don't necessarily need to deal with right now. Tom says, one question: is the K12 worth their 32 gig version or the bare bones? And hoping to find a good price on storage and RAM. Let me go back and look and see what the actual price on that is. The K12 H255. So again, this is this is the model that I've got. Now, that's going to depend on you, if I'm being completely honest. Because like I've got storage laying around, right? Like I've got other systems that I can swap RAM around in if I really wanted to. I think I've still got 32 gigs in this. Let me see. Yeah, I've just got 32 gigs in this. Yeah, RIP Dawn indeed. But it's really a matter of what you have available to you, right? If you get the bare bones, and if you can get the RAM and the storage for $380, or less than $380, then the bare bones system makes sense to do it bare bones. Is that flap on top their idea of a heatsink? No. So under here is a big fan. I might actually be able to show you. I think I might have footage of it. Let me see. I might. Maybe I don't. I thought I had footage of it. But no, so this is a shroud that wraps all the way around. And there's a fan on the top and the bottom. So this is kind of a spill guard and protector from sticking your finger in there. And if you flip the device over, there's another fan blowing air on the other side. So it's fan protection. And it actually looks, pretty good. I can show you kind of what the mess looks like here, but Wow, that's... Let me do this. Hold on. There we go. Here, I'll just do this. It'll be easier to do it this way. I'm just going to share this over here so I can pull it up. And do this, and do that, and do that. There we go. And this, and then there, and then there. So this is what it looks like on my desk right now. And yeah, this little slot right here, like air goes in through there. And then this is the wireless receiver for my microphone. But there's also a button situation going on in this. In fact, you can see it right here. That's a button that will change the color of the fan. It'll do like different colors, or it'll be rainbows or whatever, right? With where I've got it, I can't see the fan anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's there. Again, beast of a machine. Even more so with the extra GPU I've got plugged into it. Yeah, I don't think 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte hard drive with Windows for under $380 is possible to find today. I don't disagree with you. I don't. I had a PC up here that came with 64 gigs that I swapped out and put in my ZimaCube because that kind of caps it out on what it'll support. But yeah, no, memory sucks to find right now. Storage sucks to find right now. And it's one of the reasons I haven't been doing hardware reviews anymore, is because it feels disingenuous or just kind of crappy to be like, hey, look at this cool hardware that is unreasonably expensive. And I'm not talking about GMK tech specifically. It's just tech in general. And it sucks and I hate it. And that's where we are. So... They can't tell me where I can and can't stick my fingers. You know, you're not wrong, Ben. You could stick your fingers in there if you wanted to. It'll just hurt a little bit and make a lot of noise, and then the fan will stop until you take your finger out, and then it'll spin back up because they've got these neat safety mechanisms in fans these days to keep the hubs from burning out when people stick their fingers in them. So, one of the other comments that I've been getting, a lot. I didn't mean to actually pull that up there. I apologize. One of the other comments that I keep getting a lot on the EuroOffice and the LibreOffice videos, because it also talks about EuroOffice and Collabora, is I don't want a cloud-based Office software. Why would anybody want a cloud-based Office? Why would anybody? It's a cloud-based cloud. It's like, dude, some people want cloud-based access to their stuff, or you can set it up for local-only access. And it blows me away that people don't think about what they don't think about, right? And I very much have been in this situation, and I try to catch myself when I can. I still miss it sometimes, but this is, I totally try to answer all the comments that people have, but I imagine it's next to impossible to keep up with. I've been doing a pretty good job up until the last week. In the last, but they use Google and Microsoft, right? Fucking right. People are very narrow-minded. And again, it's easy to go solipsistic about certain things and not think about the use case that somebody else might have for a certain piece of software or whatever, right? I'm trying to see. Oh, you know what? It'll be easier if I do it this way. Let me go over to here. And let me zoom over. Come on, work with me here. Okay. Oops, that's not what I wanted. All right, let's look at this. On the video that went live yesterday, 228 comments. Open Media Vault, 14 comments. That's manageable, right? Euro Office 300 comments. Um, the the um, open source security video with where I talked about people or applications being hijacked from dependencies farther up. 24 comments. Um, it's rough trying to keep up when videos or when comments are coming in, in the hundreds on a particular video in a day. I would literally just sit here all day and answer questions or answer comments and that sort of thing, and I just can't. I try to, dude. I had one comment on, I don't remember on which video. I don't remember if it was the LibreOffice or the Euro Office video, where somebody's like, "Are you okay? You look sick." And it kind of hurt my feelings, like not in a boohoo kind of way, but like when I recorded that video, like this is the best I have felt in years, like mentally, physically, like this is the best I have felt in years. And for somebody to then throw a comment like you look like shit, it's like, thanks. I haven't felt better in a long time, and now you're telling me I look worse than you've ever seen me. Thank you for that. And I was like, why would, and my response to that was just a simple, why would you ask somebody that? And people kind of got nasty with me in responses. And I was like, and I explained, like, this is the best I have felt in a long time. So maybe I just misinterpreted their intent there, right? I actually responded that way as a response to a response to a response, right? And somebody got real nasty with me about that. Like, that was just an awful way to respond to somebody. And I was like, did you miss the spot where I, like, right before your comment, I was like, hey, maybe I just misinterpreted this because. So I have to avoid responding to certain comments. If somebody leaves a stupid comment, like, well, I just don't get it, this seems like a waste of time, my response is a very casual, well, thank you for the engagement. Because either they will not respond or they'll delete their comment. And either way, I still got the engagement out of it. And the industry standard in Office suites have been cloud-based or biased for how long? Yeah, years at this point. And it just blows me away that people are still very, very, it's got to be installed on my computer or it's not worth it. Cool, you're still connecting to the cloud to make these things happen. Well done, numbnuts. But, and maybe some people are using older versions of the software that aren't cloud dependent. I don't know. But again, it's very easy to forget the people are at different places in their life, their professional abilities, what they're doing. People are just in different places across the board. And it's easy to forget that sometimes. In today's reality, is anyone really working fully offline? Having one license installed to use offline that costs you every month and you use it once in a blue moon versus online only version 0 at zero cost, right? Like I've thought about like testing, only Office versus Euro Office versus Collabora, just to see what they do differently and to see how they work. I think that would be a fun experiment for me to try one of these days. Because my experience when installing Euro Office, which is a fork of I think only Office or Open Office or whatever, I mix those two up a lot. It is effectively the same thing that they're working on changing. But I think it would be fun to compare those three and see how different and how similar they are. But I would probably throw them all on C-File because I've had good luck with C-File. And a lot of people in the comments on that video also complained a lot about C-File. Like you must be an idiot if you can use C-File but you can't use Nextcloud was almost verbatim what somebody said. Like, C-File is so much harder to set up than Nextcloud. I don't have that experience, right? My experience with C-File is much different than that. And I didn't have any issues. So again, it's all about perspective as far as what people are doing and what they're comfortable with and the experiences that they've had with them. Ben says, I get that doing videos isn't something we're going to make millions off of. It's a passion to want to help people and just have someone say that to you is crummy. I'm glad you're doing well. I appreciate that, Ben. I do. Um, and look, the reality was I did look different in that video, just as I look different in this video. Like I've still got to figure out my lighting a little bit. One of the issues I have with the Facecam Pro that I'm using here, and I may have to switch to the other one. The one of the issues is that I don't get to really the um, the white balance is different, even if I set it the same as like what I had on my Panasonic G4. The lenses are different, the sensors are different, so like I'm still trying to dial some of that in. There's still a lot of redness in my skin tone with these lights and this camera. I may switch over to the Facecam 4K and see how that goes. But like my lights were too bright, my ISO and all of that was wrong. My like so I did look a little more red, a little more flesh. My eyes looked a little more bloodshot. I think they still kind of look bloodshot. I'm not high. I just have bloodshot eyes. And somebody took all of that and was like, "You look like shit." And I was like, "Thanks." Um, so it's one of the things that it took me a long time to learn was if you're going to be online, you have to learn to have a thick skin because people are going to say things to you that hurt your feelings because that's the way people are. And it took me a long time to not be reactive to that. Um, and apparently even asking, why would you ask somebody that is an attack worthy offense, which I just find mind boggling. As someone who has struggled for many years with managing allergies that made my skin and eyes feel absolutely effed, I feel you. Yeah, like you can probably hear like I'm more nasally right now because my sinuses are screwed. My eyes do feel a little bit burny right now, and I'm sure that the allergies have a big part of that. But it's just like it'd be like walking into a convention somewhere where you don't know anybody and just walking up to somebody that you don't know and he's like, hey, you look like shit today, well done. Like, why would you say that to somebody? Like, I genuinely don't understand who gets it in their head that it's okay to talk to people that they don't know in that way. And and look, I'm not upset about it. It's just, it's mind boggling to me. And maybe it's the parasocial relationship of me being a content creator, and people feeling like they know me because they've seen my content. And feeling like, oh well, because I've watched your content enough, I know you, so I can say these things. You know the version of me that I put online, which is often very transparent, but you don't know me, and I don't know you. So to say something like that to somebody just blows my mind. I think people should be grateful that you don't phone it in and do AI slop. So it's funny that you mentioned. I'm actually glad you said that. I get 3, 4, 5 emails a day from companies wanting me to promote their AI, whatever, their AI SaaS product. And I could easily make an extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month by doing one a week. And part of me wonders if I shouldn't just have like AI day, right? Here's an AI thing. Here's the presentation. I think it would go poorly for the community. Uh, but I think it would be funny to do an AI SaaS day, like every week, have somebody, because again, I get these emails all of the time, and just be like, yeah, I'll cover it. Here's how much it's going to cost you. I'll have the video out on this day. I think it would be funny to do an AI day, just every week. Because again, I would make more money, and it would bring in a whole different crowd of people, which I don't know how I feel about that. Um, but there's a part of me that would find it amusing because I've been so kind of like outspoken about AI slop to just start like one day a week do an AI SaaS video. I think it would be hilarious, but I don't think other people would find it hilarious. Do because people are a-holes. There is that. I don't disagree with that. Could be a simple white balance problem. You get a piece of pure white paper, another piece of black paper, film yourself, and then set the white and black set points. Somewhere I've got one of those gray cards that I used to use on my on my Panasonic that worked really well. But that's not a bad idea. The other problem, and I know this may sound like an excuse, but I promise it's not. The screens that I have in here are garbage. Like one of them is Lenovo, the other one is LG, and their colors are so vastly different and not at all accurate compared to like my Asus ProArt screens that I've gotten in the other part of the house. It is so hard to set color on these because they're wildly inaccurate. And that also contributes a little bit to it as well. I could probably bring in, I've got a small portable ProArt that I could bring in here and do color set on, and I might do that now that I've said it out loud. Excuse me. Because yeah, trying to color set on these two screens, I may as well close my eyes and point at the setting that I want it to be because I'll get the same results. I've always stood behind, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. I agree. I want to do police chase videos. They're all AI voiceovers and get millions of subs. Dude, I have considered stuff like that as well, Ben. Just have a VTuber day. That'd be funny. I wonder how hard that would be. How to be a VTuber. Requires a virtual avatar model tracking software to map your movement to the model. Streaming software like Studio OBS. You can create one, or you can go to Vroid Studio, huh? Okay. That's fine. Is this Japanese? I don't. Translate to English. It is Japanese. Okay. I am an old man yelling at a cloud here. I want to be very, very clear about that. I don't understand this aesthetic. I don't understand this aesthetic for caricatures. It's never made sense to me why looking like a 10-year-old girl or this is attractive. And I don't necessarily mean sexually attractive, though that's a whole separate thing. I don't understand why that aesthetic is so attractive to the world right now. It doesn't make sense to me. I need a monitor spider to fix my colors also. Yeah. These monitors, I've had these monitors for so long. They were one of the first big purchases I made when I decided to make this space my studio. No, not that. Payments saved by purchase history. There we go. Let me look up Lenovo. Here we go. I bought the monitor I'm looking at right now, like that's right under where you guys are chatting. I bought that in January of 2022. And then LG. I don't know where I got this LG monitor. It wasn't on eBay because I bought the Lenovo monitor here on eBay. But 4 years ago, I've had this monitor up and running that long. And again, it's a 28-inch 4K screen. The Lenovo is also, or sorry, the LG is also, I think, the same 27, 28-inch screen with 4K capabilities. I don't even know what model number it is. Advanced settings, graphics. LG, LG. It doesn't say. I think it's also a 28-inch screen. Oh, let's see. Virtual avatar and AI voice for one video is a joke, right? Like, wouldn't that be something? That could actually be a lot of fun. Now you've made me imagine you as an anime waifu. Please don't imagine that too much farther than you probably already have. I was wondering about the furries as well. I just, again, it's there's obviously something to it, and I think most of it is community, right? Like it's, and this is going to be maybe a weird comparison, but I think it's the same general idea um, as being a juggalo, right? And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I've never been to a gathering of the Juggalos, but I've seen little mini documentaries and that stuff about it. And their whole thing is be who you are. Nobody here is going to judge you. And I know that some people there are judging, but it's an opportunity to express yourself in a way in a group of people where you aren't being judged. And I understand that. But the Asian aesthetic that is taken over with like K-pop and that sort of thing. I don't understand it. Ben says ICP for life. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely there's a community there. You know, there's, and I think that's what we're all looking for, right? Is a form of community. We've just done it in the nerdy way with racks of PCs and networking gear, and they've done it with, you know, costumes. And again, it doesn't, it's not something that I would feel comfortable with. Make your avatar as a cat. I think what would be really funny to do, because I don't hate that. Um, so I have a Flame Point Siamese named Cloud. Cass, thank you so much for hanging out. Anyway, I've got a Flame Point Siamese named Cloud. He is white and orange Siamese. And my wife has been threatening for a while to get like one of those 80s tastic photo shoots done of me and him, you know, like one where I'm holding him and then it's like our faces kind of off, you know, like kind of faded in a little bit. Um, you should definitely not search Gathering of the Juggalos on YouTube, right? I guess my question got lost in the feed there. Yeah, sorry if it did. You're not a Baby Metal fan. I kind of am. I like their music. I don't necessarily dig the aesthetic though. Den of Tools YouTuber who early videos were a bear avatar. Huh. I was an ICP fan in the 90s. I still am sometimes, but most of it's just for the nostalgia. A lot of it's, and you know, having a 12-inch sub with nearly 1,000 watts going to it helps. You know, when you want to feel it. But yeah, no, definitely there's some nostalgia there because like none of their music was actually good, but it was fun. You know, it was entertaining. Um, they did a song that I really like called "To Catch a Predator," um, and I thought that one was really well done. Really enjoyed that one. Minister Johansson, are you going to repeat your question? It just says I'll repeat it in brief, and then I don't see it. I have a bunch of their albums. I used to have a bunch of their albums. Um, I had a bunch of their discs when I still had a disc binder. I remember I bought. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one too. ICP didn't age well. Like they didn't start well either. But you know, it's fun, silly music. Oh, I wonder. Their albums were my Pokemon. That's a really good correlation there. I remember the first one. I think the first one I got was Forgotten Freshness. Um, then when I want to say, when did they had Bizarre and Bizarre ICP? Yeah, so they had the two Bizarre albums that came out in 2000. I picked them up when I was in AIT in Georgia in 2001. I listened to those a lot then. All right. Mr. Johansson says, commissioned to build an ass. The buyer decided to sell it a month after not finding a use case for it that would justify the price. Was it my mistake to let a barely tech literate user to go through? No. Look, they thought they had a use case for the device that they asked you to build. You built it. You did what they asked you to build, or that you built what they asked you to build. It sounds like anyway. If maybe if they had asked more questions, or maybe if they had um, given you more details, you could have helped better. And it's not to say that you didn't help, but it sounds like you did what they asked you to do, and then they decided, oh, I don't have a use for this. I don't think that's your problem. I don't think you did anything wrong in that, based on that one part of the question. Chicken hunting, yeah. Purchase or not giving them a better rundown of the main selling points. Yeah, how could you not like lyrics like "I stabbed a fat guy in the butt"? Yeah. Sorry for the split messages. YouTube character limits killing me. Oh, on your phone. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, dude. I don't look. If dude came to you and said, "Hey, I need a NAS to store files on," and you built him as a NAS to store files on, and he decided, "Oh, I don't want to store my files on this NAS," that's not your fault. So it's a matter of setting expectations. Maybe next time you're commissioned to do something like that, you can use this as an experience to say, hey, look, last time I did this, we ran into these scenarios, and I want to address that before we get too far in. And you can ask questions like, what are the long-term goals? What other things might you want to do with this? Do you plan on having multiple users? Are you going to be hosting apps? You can ask all of these questions and then hopefully build it to a better spec next time, a better specification, not necessarily from a hardware perspective, but from a setup and software perspective. I mean, to go along with the hardware. So I would use this as a learning opportunity, so that if you get approached again in the future by somebody, you can say, okay, look, this time we need to address these things ahead of time before we get into the actual build. Okay, good. That's a good question. Remember to stay hydrated. Mm. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, oh man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to cover today. I want to say thank you guys. Also, hold on. It's a box with hard drives and another word. What do you need? Right? Basically, yeah. Um, yeah, I want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Sunday. Um, I know that a lot of people have got things going on the weekend, especially with it getting to be warmer, better weather, that sort of thing. So it really means a lot that you guys are hanging out with me on the weekends. Again, it seems that Sundays might be a better day for this than Saturdays, um, but I think we're going to keep doing Sundays for a while just to see how things go. if the weather changes or when the weather changes again, it starts getting colder. Once sports, like the kids' sports and that sort of thing, once that's out the window for the next year, we'll probably switch back to Saturdays. But we'll see what happens. Um, Probably around the time that football season comes back around, we'll switch to Saturdays. I think it's probably a safe bet. Um, what kind of network tools to protect your internal network? Example, firewall, intrusion detection systems, and so on. I use Unify for everything. I don't have the only ports I have open are redirected somewhere else because I had to for my fiber box. I had to put it in bridge mode in order for my Unify gear to work with it. So yeah, so I had to put that in bridge mode. So ports 80 and 443 automatically came through. And if I didn't redirect them somewhere else, it dropped you right into my dashboard for my Unify stuff. So I had to redirect them. Yeah, how much time do you have, right? It's again, it's one of those questions of what kind of car should I buy? It's nearly impossible to answer a question like that without knowing what it is you're trying to do with your home lab and your network and your connection and that sort of thing, right? Like for me, the easiest answer is don't open any ports and either use something like Cloudflare tunnels or NetBird or a service like that to gain remote access easily for free. NetBird was not what I meant to say, but one of those tunneling services that are out there that are free, and don't open any ports. Then you don't have to worry about it. Then you can restrict easily who can get onto your network and who can do what they want to do, and you don't have to open your ports. That would be my suggestion. But that's coming up in a future video on the Open Media Vault 8 stuff. Yeah, Unify APs and Unify switches, absolutely, man. Tailscale was the other one I was thinking of. Thank you, Jason. There's another one. There's another one that's more like Tailscale. But yeah, that's exactly what Tailscale is for. Remote access with no port forwarding. If you wanted to use NetBird or Pangolin, you could do that as well. Those require you to have a third-party VPS, and you've got to secure that. TwinGate's another good one as well. I don't know why that one got flagged, but TwinGate's another good one. There's another one that was, that escapes me, but there's lots of options that you can use for remote access that are fairly easy and straightforward to set up. But Zero Tier, thank you. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was looking for, Jeremy. So there's lots of different options on how you can remotely access your stuff easily without opening things up and creating more overhead on your local management for your home lab. Cloudflare does have a free account. You're absolutely right, Ben. I use it a lot. In fact, I need to go up and maybe I'll do that later. I need to go in and clear out a bunch of old tunnels I'm not using anymore. The best setup is the setup you feel comfortable using. That is 100% right, Tom. A lot of people will be like, well, I saw that, creator X and Y are using this service that I've never heard of that requires a master's degree in astrophysics to set up. And that's what I think I should use. Nope. It's sure not. Like, it is absolutely not the one that you should be using. The one you should be using is the one you're comfortable with, that will give you the protection that you need. So I need to, like I said, I need to go up and clean up a bunch of my Cloudflare tunnels because I've got a bunch of them that I consolidated that I need to remove the old ones, and I need to do some updates on my new ones too. Maybe this afternoon's going to be an update day. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Or I'll start working on my taxes, one or the other. I don't know yet. But either way, I should probably go do one of those things and grab some lunch. So again, thank you guys for hanging out with me today here on the weekend. I appreciate you doing that, and all of that sort of things. So if you haven't already and you feel the urge, give the video a like, the stream here a like. If you haven't caught the last couple of videos, it'd be cool if you went and checked those out for the Euro Office and the LibreOffice videos. That'd be cool. But yeah, I guess with all of that said, have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you in the next one.